Hi guys, this is Pestillion. Welcome to another Escape from Tarkov video. Today I am covering what PvE Tarkov is, how you get it, and all the hundreds of questions you guys have about PvE Tarkov. Been playing it now for a few weeks, so I should have a pretty good understanding to explain all this to you. So without further ado, let's crack straight into it. Now, originally I was going to film this video pretty much so it came out immediately after the previous video. However, I lost my voice for about a week and I'm on the tail end of that. So if I'm a bit croaky, that is why. But let's get into it. What is PvE Tarkov? Well, in a summary, it's pretty much the exact same game as Escape from Tarkov, but instead of playing against other players, you're playing against AI. And I'll explain all that now. First up, how you get it. If you already have an Edge of Darkness edition or the Unheard edition of Escape from Tarkov, you already have access to it. From the main menu, there's a button down the bottom right corner and it says to switch over to PvE mode. You click that button and you're in there. If you have any of the other editions, you need to go to escapefromtarkov.com. You click on the purchase of Escape from Tarkov and then to the expansions. And then for 20 USD, you can buy the PvE upgrade. Now, some things to note: if someone wants to gift you the PvE edition of the game, they have to match the region that you have. So if you have the Europe region, they need to gift you a Europe region as well. And same with US or the Russian region. Once you have the actual game itself or the game mode itself, you can actually just click that button and you'll pretty much look like you've just started a new playthrough of Escape from Tarkov, because you are starting a new playthrough of Escape from Tarkov. Next up, how do the servers work? So some of it's locally and some of it is hosted by Battlestate Games on their servers. So starting off, the local stuff is all the solo raids that you do as a PMC, except for the map Streets of Tarkov. The reason for that is because it's running all off your computer. If you were to try and run Streets and also all the scavs, bosses, etc., and the loot, you just frames would tank. It already has a lower frame rate than normal for Escape from Tarkov, so them having it on Streets is a little like safety net for you. At least you get to play that one with the BSG hosting. You will have to go through matching times for that, but when it is locally hosted, say you go into a factory raid, it loads in super fast. Like we're talking 20 seconds. You're in a raid, you're already getting to shoot at stuff. As for the server side, or the Battlestate Games server side, it is every single scav run. If you go into a scav run, you'll be on the BSG servers. It will start at the beginning of a raid time. So if there's a 40-minute map, you'll be there at the 40-minute mark. So you actually get a whole raid of 40 minutes to explore. Now, there are some issues with the scav side of PvE. However, I believe over time they will nut out all the issues, but you do have a full 40 minutes or whatever the map time is to explore as a scav, and you won't have the scavs engaging you. PMCs will, and it might get a little bit confusing because they kind of cluster around scavs as well. They don't always engage scavs, and also PMCs can stand right next to bosses as well. It can get very confusing, so just it is what it is. For now, is what we got. Now, as I was talking about before, the street raids, those ones are hosted on the Battlestate Games server, and the frame rate is still pretty atrocious. Even with my computer, I'm always sitting on like 60 to 70 FPS. We usually have over 100 FPS when I'm playing in PvP mode. Not exactly sure what's causing that. It must have something to do with it being hosted, or maybe they've got more scavs in there and bosses in there or something like that. But as it stands, for the optimization, you do have a less frame rate overall on PvE, and through my experience. Lastly, if you do any co-op raids, so with the progression, and I'll talk about the progression shortly, with the co-op raids, you will have the ability to play on BSG servers. So that way you're not hosting it from your computer and having someone else join your computer. Host it on the BSG server and you join that server together, and then get to play the game just like, you know, as I was explaining, as a PvE mode, where you won't be going up against other players, only AI PMCs. So how does the progression work? As for progression, skills, stats, and experience works exactly the same as the main PvP version of Escape from Tarkov. As you level up a skill, it will level up. It doesn't get reverted back at the end of a raid. Your stats will stay cumulative over all your raids, and your XP will go up. You'll progress through your traders exactly the same. You'll have to finish quests. And then obviously, as you level up traders, you'll get higher level access to traders and be able to check out all their gear and use their gear. The one major thing about PvE is it does not wipe. So it will only ever wipe if you want it to. And as it stands, as Battlestate Games puts out new patches, people on PvE are going to have access to all that stuff straight away. I'm very curious with the upcoming wipe, how it's going to be when someone already has like level 70 max traders, all the quests done. When the actual patch comes out for the patch 15 that's around the corner, are they going to have access to the latest quests, all the latest gear, everything straight away? I assume so, which is pretty cool. But at the same time, it kind of removes some of that excitement of actually unlocking it as you progress. So it is what it is, but it is actually a cool way that you'll be able to see some of the new gear without having to worry about re-leveling up every single time Escape from Tarkov wipes. If you do want to manually reset, it's exactly the same as before. You need to go to your escapefromtarkov.com, log into your profile, and then you need to click reset account. Once you go to there, you'll get the option between resetting on your PvP account or your PvE account. If you do reset your PvP account, you're resetting your arena account with it. However, if you're resetting your PvE account, you're not resetting your arena account. At this point in time, ref is not available on PvE servers, so you won't be able to unlock any of the arena stuff for the PvE mode, which means GP coins are completely worthless in the PvE mode as it stands right now. Now, another thing to note for the progression on PvE is the fact that the flea market is there to be used with all other PvE players. So some items that you'll find on the PvP flea market will be way more expensive on PvE and vice versa. So if you are playing on PvE, there is a flea market, which is great. And you get to sell items to other people that are doing the PvE mode. That's really cool. And you can progress through the game however you like with that. And it's just another way that, you know, you can still play it just like it is on the PvP servers. Now over to the AI. So PMCs, they are completely computer PMCs. The way they kind of work is they're very similar to raiders, how aimbody they are. So if you're overexposed to them, look at them too long, they will pretty much cut you up and kill you straight away. Nearly all their guns are around half durability. Some can be repaired, some can't be repaired, but they do all have very decent gear. Straight away, you'll be able to kill them and get like level 4, 5, or 6 armors. You'll also be able to get really end-game weapons and sometimes end-game ammo as well. Nearly all of them have AFAX on them, and generally speaking, they're very well geared. So you'll be very quickly able to get some really good gear and progress through the game quite quickly if you're good enough to kill raiders. So I would say the baseline is if you can go into a labs raid and have no issues on PvP killing the raiders on labs, you will clean up on these PMCs in PvE. You will get caught out. Sometimes they just throw at you. Sometimes you'll, get shot through a window in the eyes. It's happened to me a few times now as I've been playing through. But generally speaking, I can hold myself quite comfortably against these PMCs. Now the bosses. So with the bosses, I've kind of felt like, and this has been forever in Escape from Tarkov, if you have a zero latency to the actual server, the bosses seem to be able to beam you so much faster. So you don't want to peek out as long as before. I don't know if it does have anything to do with high ping or whatever, but generally speaking, when I play on an offline raid, I'm trying to film a video guide for you guys on how to kill bosses. The bosses just seem way more beamy and lock onto you and shoot you a lot faster. And it kind of feels like that. Bosses do seem to have a higher spawn rate than in the main game of Escape from Tarkov, but there's no evidence of that. All we know at the moment is they're set to 40%. And I would probably say for the bosses, that's correct. Besides the goons, I would say the goons constantly feel like they're in every single raid. They're not there every time. I do know for a fact, I go into raids sometimes on customs, the goons aren't there, but I would say somewhere between 70 and 80% of the time, the goons are there. So, you might go into a customs raid, Charlotte won't be in any of the spawns, but the goons will be there most of the time. This can be quite a problem. However, I think in general speaking, it's a good thing because it helps you get better at Escape from Tarkov's AI, and therefore, and because they're constantly there, you'll be more alert and ready for them, and it'll help build up your skill level. So if you do want to switch over to PvP servers, AI would not be an issue after you get good at killing the goons. Now, as for scavs, they generally do like to swarm particular areas, and if you stick around a certain area too long, you will get overwhelmed. There's a couple of tricks to get away from them. Say, for example, if you're in the middle of interchange, this scavs will keep swarming you, and the more you fight, it feels like the more that will come along and try and kill you. The one trick that seems to work really well for me at the moment is I just run away to a little bit out of that area, maybe just loot there for 30 seconds to a minute, come in from a different direction, and it kind of just calms down that area. It's like there's a heat map on a certain area, and so then all the scavs and AI start gravitating towards it. BSG are developing the AI intelligence, I guess, and they're trying to make it so it's more realistic. So just keep that in mind as you're playing. Now the loot. In the past, Escape from Tarkov PvE loot was through the roof insane, and people were making literally 1 billion rubles in the matter of weeks. There's heaps of videos out there of people how they did it. There was some sort of issue. I don't know how BSG's explained it exactly, but it was way too much loot, and they have dialed it down. It is very similar to playing online right now. I wouldn't say it's worse. It's pretty much similar. I find around the same amount of loot. However, there are different items in loot pools that you do not see on the online raids. For example, AHF1M stims or 3BTG. They are just not in the loot pool, generally speaking, when you're playing on a PvP server. But on the PvE, I'm finding it. So there are slightly different loot pools, but the loot's very similar these days to online PvP versus PvE. Now, for some people, they'll be thinking, why would I even bother playing the PvE mode? I personally have been doing it as a bit of a side hustle, fun thing to do while I'm waiting for the wipe. One thing I'm doing that's quite fun is I'm doing 1 raid a day, and that is actually going live right now on the Pestically TV channel. And if you want to check out my progression discretion. I'm literally going to be posting one raid a day on the Pestilly TV channel for you guys to watch me on PvE. I try and capitalize on doing as much as I can each raid, and I actually progress extremely fast. It's pretty cool to see how fast I can progress through the game with the knowledge I have, and then just trying to juice out every single minute of every raid. It's also a really good opportunity that if you want to try something like a hardcore playthrough or a solo self-found playthrough from Path of Exile, where you only use the items that you find. That is awesome. You can do that, and that's your opportunity to try that out, and I highly recommend you do that. Now, another really good opportunity for the actual PvE mode as well is the fact that you can actually teach people Tarkov. One good thing that Battlestate Games did was they only made it $20. Now, I'm not going to argue over how much money things cost and all that, but if you buy the base game and for an extra $20, or you can gift your mate the actual PvE mode, and then you can teach them Escape from Tarkov without any worry about, giga chads or cheaters or anything ruining their experience. And it's a good way that you could just do a playthrough with your mates offline and not have to worry about, all the sweat lords out there, and just play at your own pace. So it's a really good opportunity to teach your friends or hang out with your friends and play Escape from Tarkov without all the bullcrap that comes with playing Escape from Tarkov. And that probably leads into the major reason why I think a lot of people are playing PvE game mode, and it's kind of what was happening in the previous video I was talking about. It's a safe place to play away from cheaters, and you can only play at your own pace without having to worry about wipes. So, if you don't have opportunity to play much and you want to play for 3 days straight non-stop and then not touch the game for another 6 months and then play it for a couple more weeks or whatever, you can do that. There's nothing stopping you in this game mode, which is actually really cool, because then it means that people that have invested their money into this game, they can still play the game, get somewhat of the same feeling, or maybe even more of it by actually getting to play the game in their way. Now, one of the common questions I get, or some common questions I get is, can you still do the Scav PMC co-op extracts? You can, but you do need to kind of like bait them into the extract. It does work, and it's a little bit more difficult to do. But yes, the Scav PMC co-op extracts do work, but there is no way to specifically say, hey, don't shoot me, come over here, let's extract. Maybe in the future, BSG will add that. So probably the big 3 questions that I have been getting this entire time whilst I've been playing it is it fun? Yes, I actually do find it quite enjoyable. I kind of think of it as more as like a puzzle of Escape from Tarkov than, the intense like tenacity, audacity, stress of PvP. I'm kind of trying to figure out how to do it with as few raids as possible and min-maxing my raids out and learning new spawns and stuff like that. Works really fun for me in that way, but I can definitely find other people finding fun just exploring the game and learning the game and having fun with playing it. Do I prefer it? No. In generally speaking, no, I'd rather play on the PvP servers, but there are no loading times and no cheaters, and it's late wipe. I could just have some fun, try it out, mess about with it on my hardcore playthrough, which I'm also doing. For me, it's just been a lot of fun. But yeah, next wipe, I'll be 100% back to PvP, where I'll be playing straight through to Kappa, and then probably playing on my hardcore PvP playthrough from there. Now, like I was saying before, if you want to see me playing through the PvE game mode and being extremely efficient, like I'm talking pretty crazy, some of the stuff I'm pulling off in this PvE playthrough, it's going to be up on the Pestilly TV channel. I've reopened that channel, got a 7 Days to Die series on there, but the PvE playthrough has begun starting with this video. So go jump over to that Pestilly TV channel, check out the playthrough. There'll be 1 raid a day going up, and it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. I'm actually really enjoying it. I actually sometimes stream for an hour a day just to play that raid. That's how excited I am to play it. And last but not least, I'm currently doing a charity event on my Twitch stream. Come to twitch.tv/Pestilly, where you can get involved with all the charity shenanigans. It's going for 72 hours, but the actual charity event will be open for the whole month. So if you want to help support a really amazing charity being Starlight Children's Foundation Australia, we raised over $1.2 million for them back in 2020. And every year we've raised $100,000 since. And we're setting that goal this year to raise another $100,000 for them over this charity event. So if you've got $5, you want to separate your coffee money for the week and skip a coffee, chuck that up. I'll have a link down below. I'll have it pinned if you guys want to donate. If you want to come across to the stream and be a part of the fun, thank you so much. If not, if you already missed the stream and it's still August, please consider donating. It's a really amazing charity. And yeah, thank you. I'll finish up this video here. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and comment for the YouTube algorithm. Tell me what you've been thinking about PvE and if you've been enjoying it or not. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell to keep up to date for the latest videos. And lastly, I'll see you next time.